The town was small and peaceful. Houses stood beside quiet streets. The sun shone warmly and birds sang in the trees. At the edge of the town was a large garden. Sunflowers grew tall in the garden. They reached up to the sun. In the garden was an old shed. It was made of wood and the paint was peeling. The shed was home to Bella. Bella was a cat with soft black fur. She had 3 kittens named Misty, Jinx and Pip. The kittens loved to play in the garden. The old shed provided shelter for Bella and her kittens. It was cozy and warm inside. The kittens liked to curl up with Bella. They felt safe in the shed, which smelled of hay and sunshine. The garden was a magical place for the kittens. They loved to explore its hidden corners. Butterflies fluttered among the flowers and bees buzzed lazily in the sunshine. The kittens would often chase after the butterflies. They never caught them, of course. Bella was a kind and gentle mother. She watched over her kittens with care. Misty was the oldest kitten. She had grey fur like a misty morning. Misty was quiet and thoughtful. She liked to watch the world go by. Jinx was the playful one. He had black and white fur. Jinx loved to chase his tail and he made everyone laugh. Pip was the smallest kitten. He had ginger fur and bright eyes. Pip was always curious. He wanted to explore everything. Bella purred softly as she watched her kittens play. She was happy. Her kittens brought her so much joy. Bella licked each of her kittens in turn. She loved them very much. The kittens purred back happily. Each kitten had a special place in Bella's heart. She loved them all dearly. Bella taught her kittens how to hunt. She taught them how to stay safe. Bella was a good mother. She wanted her kittens to grow up strong and brave. The garden belonged to Mr. Bumble. He was a kind old man. Mr. Bumble lived in a cottage next to the garden. He loved his sunflowers. They were his pride and joy. Every morning, Mr. Bumble would greet his sunflowers. He would talk to them softly. Mr. Bumble loved the kittens too. He would often leave out sources of milk for them. Sometimes he would even give them scraps of food. The kittens loved Mr. Bumble. They would rub against his legs and purr loudly. Mr. Bumble would chuckle and stroke their fur. Mr. Bumble's sunflowers were very special. They were the tallest and the brightest in the whole town. People would come from miles around just to see them. Mr. Bumble would smile proudly. He knew that his sunflowers brought joy to everyone. The kittens enjoyed playing around the sunflowers. They would often hide among the tall stalks. Sometimes they would bat at the yellow petals. Mr. Bumble didn't mind. He liked to see the kittens having fun. He knew that the kittens felt safe and happy in his garden. Section 4. Adventures in the Sunflower Garden. The sunflower garden was a wonderful playground. The kittens loved to explore its hidden corners. They would chase each other through the tall stalks. The sunflowers towered above them like giant trees. One sunny morning, Misty discovered a bird's nest hidden among the sunflowers. She called her brothers to come and see. The kittens watched the baby birds in amazement. They had never seen anything so small and delicate. Jinx, always the playful one, liked to pretend that the sunflowers were a jungle. He would stalk through them, pretending to be a fierce tiger. He would pounce on his unsuspecting siblings. The kittens would tumble in the grass, their paws entangled. Pip, the most curious of the 3, loved to climb. He would scramble up the thick sunflower stalks. He would perch precariously on the large flower heads. From his high vantage point, he would survey his domain. Section 5. Pip and the Garden Sprites. Pip loved the garden at night. It was different then. The flowers seemed to glow. The air was filled with strange and wonderful scents. One night, Pip crept out of the shed. He wanted to see who else was in the garden. He tiptoed between the sunflowers. Suddenly, Pip saw something magical. Tiny people were moving among the flowers. They had wings that shimmered like dewdrops. Their clothes were made of leaves and petals. Pip had never seen anything like them before. The tiny people were the Garden Sprites. They cared for the garden at night. They whispered to the flowers. They sprinkled them with magic dust. The Garden Sprites were very busy. They didn't see Pip hiding behind a sunflower. Pip watched the Garden Sprites with wide eyes. He was amazed by their magic. He wanted to know more about them. He wanted to be their friend. Pip knew that he had discovered something very special. Section 6. The Secret of the Garden. A garden sprite flew close to Pip. It was no bigger than his paw. It had a kind face and gentle eyes. "Hello," whispered the garden sprite. "Don't be afraid. We are the garden sprites. We look after the sunflowers." Pip was so excited. He wanted to tell the garden sprite all about himself, but he knew that he had to be careful. "Hello," Pip whispered back. "I'm Pip. I live in the shed with my mother and brothers. Your magic is amazing." The garden sprite smiled. "Thank you," it said. "We love caring for the sunflowers. They bring joy to everyone, but you mustn't tell anyone about us. It's a secret." Pip nodded solemnly. He promised to keep the garden sprites secret. Pip spent the rest of the night helping the garden sprites. He helped them to water the sunflowers. He helped them to sprinkle them with magic dust. The garden sprites were very grateful for Pip's help. Before the sun rose, the garden sprites gave Pip a gift. It was a tiny sunflower seed. "Plant this seed," said the garden sprite. "It will grow into the most beautiful sunflower you have ever seen." Pip crept back to the shed as the sun began to rise. He felt proud. He had made new friends. He had a special secret. Pip knew that he would always care for the sunflowers. He would always remember the magical night he met the garden sprites.